Okay, so this is a tutorial on how to make a design of a game level using Unreal Engine. This video is a complement to the report that our group did. The game basically that we're working on is a shooting range, and as so, the first thing we should do is create a barrier, like here, between where the players will be and where the targets will be. So to do this, we can just come here to starter content, architecture, and choose this wall window. So we can put something like this. We can rotate it if we want. So just click here and put like so. Now you can move it up and down, side to side. But right now, what I want to do is to stretch it. So I can do something like this and make it go through the whole wall, through the whole space. So something like this maybe, and make it connect to both spaces. Now like this, as you can see now, if we click play, now we have a small window that separates us from the target. After this, we'll put just some textures here. Maybe what we can do is maybe just change a bit the height of the wall. It doesn't need to go this far up. As I said, we're gonna add textures and it's gonna fade away. But maybe just add a bit of height to the wall. So to do this, you just need to come here and change the height of the wall right here. So now that we've added a little bit of height, we can put it back down on the floor, as you can see, and we have all separating. Okay. And maybe the other thing that we're gonna do is, as you can see, it's not really in the middle, so we can uh, we can put it back here. Maybe the part of the player should be a little bit smaller than the zone of the targets. So maybe just put like this here, and now we have a playable area. Oh, sorry, we're spawning in the wrong place. As you can see, we spawned here. Why? Because of this. So this here details where the player starts. This side is where we want to spawn, so we can just drag this thing, which is the player spawner, up to, sorry, I selected wrong. We can just drag this thing up here, and now we're gonna spawn on this side, as you can see. Now we're on this side, on the smaller side rather than on the big side. And we can also, after, change the lighting and so on, and this also put it back here. Okay, so now we have the player side and the target side. Now let's add the textures. Okay, so if you come to the Epic Games library, in our case, we have already added this to the project. How do you add, you ask? You can come here to Marketplace and search for whatever you want. So in my case, it was a good sky. So you can come here and choose this. So you can come here and choose this, good sky. And you'll see here, so if you come here to the Epic Games and you search for this particular content, which is Good Sky, as you can see, it gives us multiple types of sky that we can add to our game. And you just click here to add to project. After you download it, you need to download it first. Add to project and choose your project. In our case, it's tutorial. You can click add to project and it should have already added. Yeah, it's here, as you can see, good sky. It's really fast. So you can just come here, drag the BP underline good sky blueprint here, and as you can see, it changed a lot. And in order for us to get rid of these weird things that you see in the sky, this happened because we haven't yet deleted the the previous sky that we had. So you need to come here. You see, you have here the BP underline good sky. You need to come here and delete the sky sphere blueprint. If you don't want to delete it, just click here. But once you render the game, it will still show. So you probably must should delete it. Uh, So as you can see, the weird things that were happening here have already gone. So now we can just come here and change a bit the settings inside. So we can choose between multiple possible uh, status for the sky. We can choose like midnight stars. In our case, we're gonna choose midnight storm, this one, which gives a bit of lightnings and so on, which is kind of nice. So maybe we can put a lot of clouds. Okay, so down here we can see sky effect storm. This here allows us to change the lightning color, to change the lightning color. So if you put something like this, for example, and you'll have purple lightnings, as you can see. Yeah. Another thing we can do is change the brightness of the lightning. So maybe we can just drag it up a little bit so the lightnings are bigger, as you can see this. And lastly, if you come here to Sky Global Setting, you can just come here and change this to Hemisphere. What this will do is instead of having the sky in its entire form, you just have half of the sky. So if you do this, you have the full sky, and if you do this, you just have half of the sky. This helps with performance. Of course, if we come here, we can see all of the sky, but if we didn't, we could just pull the sky a little bit down. But in our case, it's no problem because the player can't see that there's no sky. So now we have a sky, as you can see, and we need to start working on the whole area that we're gonna play. So as I said before, this part will be the target part and this part will be the player part. So maybe let's take care first of the target part. We need to put something in these walls to make them not look like walls, and maybe add a few tanks here and there and a few stones and smoke and fire and so on. So let's start. Now we need to add a few more assets to our program. You can choose multiple different assets. You can do a little bit different from us. But the ones we chose are the SPG M109, which gives us tanks. This gives us a few materials that we can use, as does this one, Megascans. Also another one from Megascans, and a third one from Megascans. These are the ones we are using. Just repeat the process that you did for Good Sky and add them to your project. Now, once in the project, if you're doing the project as we are, you can come here to the MES Brick Floor View 1 and choose this page, Scatter 3D, which is under MS Brick Rubble View 1, and choose this first one and drag this first stone to the program. Again, you can choose whatever you like. This is just a suggestion. So now that we have here the stone, we can resize it. Remember, click here to resize or press the R key, and we can resize the stone as we want. So we can make it bigger, larger, and wider. So it is something like this. It's quite nice. And we're gonna fill the whole wall with this stone, okay? So now we need to reposition. As I said, we're gonna start by doing the arena, or the place where the as I as I said, we're gonna start by doing the arena, or the place where the targets will be. So we can drag this here into this wall and make sure that it is visible, of course. Maybe we can just enlarge it a bit more to make the stone be really big. Okay, like this. Now we can move it. Let's move it like to this side, for example, and move it a bit down. And as you can see, if you play now, there is a wall. Now one thing you can do is drag another stone and resize it again and so on. But maybe it is better if but maybe it is a but maybe it's better if you just copy paste this stone. You could just technically copy paste them everywhere and put them like this, but it would be really repetitive. So maybe a good thing to do is some of them resize them. So make them like this and like this. Make like 5 sets of stones to make it a little bit different. So you can do something like this. I'm gonna make a few sets of stones and I'll come back. So as you can see, we already have a wall done of them all. We need to do this on every wall. But if you copy paste sometimes, if you create another rock sometimes here and there, you'll end up with a pretty good looking wall. Like here, it gives a little texture. Maybe one thing you can do, if you see here, some of the stones you can make a little bit wider. So for example, this one or this one maybe we can make it a little bit wider just to give a little sense of distance and texture. Um, so yeah, this is particularly more important if you're doing this on the player side, where the player will be able to interact. But here, the player will be too far away, so there's really no point in trying to make it a lot better. So now let's just do this in every wall, and see you in a bit. Okay, so as you can see, all the walls are filled. This part of the project is done. Most of what I did is copy paste some parts of the walls to the others, so it doesn't look too equal one to another. But as you can see here, like this detail is exactly the same as this detail. So I also adjusted some part of the walls here. I did like I don't know, a rectangle where you can shoot. You can do this to your liking, but yeah, that's it. So now let's add the floors. In order to make the floor, just come to this folder, MES Brick Rubble 1, go to 3D Assets, and choose the 15th one, which is this one, maybe like, it seems like a corner, I guess. So let's just stretch it. And why this one? Because as I said, it looks like a corner and it's perfect to put in one. So you can just now drag it here to the corner, something like this. You can rotate it and put it maybe a little bit better, and it blends in quite nicely. Just maybe we can make it a little bit bigger, and that's it. Let's bring it down here a bit, and that's it. As you can see now, right there, there is a bunch of dirt and so on. So now let's add more of this floor to the rest of the level. Okay, now that we added a bit more of details here to the ground, we can change the texture of the actual ground, maybe to make it look a little bit better. So you can choose this for old brick time, whatever. If you don't know where any of these are, you can just search here 04 and then the name if you want to use the same as us. But you can drag here the floor. I guess it looks quite nice mixed with everything. So yeah, I think it's a good texture to use. So now also the floor is already done. Time to add some of the props like the cannons or the tanks, the fire, the smoke, and after that the sounds of everything. But for now, let's add the tanks. Go here to vigilante content and choose vehicles. Maybe it's better if you open this like so you can see everything. You have here several vehicles that you can use, but let's come here to damaged and use this one. Let me point myself to where I want the tank to be. Maybe I'm gonna delete this for now. Maybe we'll add it later, but the tank is gonna come here. So let's put here the tank. The texture should be loading. Yeah, the texture is there. So this is like a wrecked tank, which is kind of nice. You can make it a little bit bigger if you want. Set the size of it however you want. I think like this it's kind of nice. Let's put it in the right spot that we want. So maybe somewhere like here. It's kind of nice on the corner. Let's see how it is. Okay, so one thing that we have a problem with is this window is too low, so we can't even almost see anything. So maybe let's make this window a little bit bigger. Okay, so we upgraded a bit. Okay, so we raised a bit the window, so now we can see everything better. The tank I also lowered its size because it was too big. So now we have the tank. We can maybe add another one right here in the middle. I think that would be nice. Let's add another one. Um, let's come here to vehicles and choose like this one and drag it down here. Uh, let's rotate it to where we want it to be. Maybe kind of like this. It would be nice, or actually maybe like this. Okay. Uh, so the tank looks quite nice here. Let's change its color. We can come here to materials and change the color like this. This one looks nice, right? Um, maybe a little bit. Yeah, you have a lot of textures that you can use and try. We'll just for now stick with this one, for example, and yeah, that's it. Uh, Now that we have the tanks, first let's maybe add also a tank in our side of the map. So let's come here and drag a new tank that's gonna come right sorry, that's going to come right here in the corner so that it doesn't mess up with the player. Let's put it like here, and that should be kind of nice. After we can put a little bit of a fire and so on. For now, let's just set a skin on it. Maybe this one. It's nice. Let's also put this skin on this one, and yeah, that's nice. So now let's add the fire and the smoke and so on. It will be kind of nice. So to do this, still on the vigilante content, you can come here and search for FS, and you have here like the PS wreckage that you can drag here. And as you can see, let's put the fire by this destroyed tank. You can also increase the fire, so make it really big. You have to press in the middle. Okay. So right now we have a big fire. Let's put it more in the correct space, which should be like here. maybe here. So we have a burning tank. So now let's add a little bit of smoke here. You can just pick up this dust wheel. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, like this. And let's put it maybe here, somewhere more, somewhere nearer of where the player is, so that maybe we see some smoke in the corner of where the player plays, like this, something like this. Yeah, exactly. Um, so now we have this. Let's add more fire and more smoke to the rest of the game. I ended up adding a few more details, so as you can see there's like a wall here to the tank and there's a few stones here. I added more wreckage here also, more fire, more smoke. So I guess that the world itself is already done. We're missing the sound and the lightning that needs to get better also. But the world itself, I think this is it. I don't think there are any more changes to be made. So if you made it just like us, well done. If you didn't and you tried your own approach, then congratulations. Now let's add the sound effects, like the fire sound effect and the lightnings. To put the sounds, you need to come here to the zip folder My Assets that is available on the description of this video and also on the zip that contained the report. So you need to come here to sound effects and you have both these sound effects. Let me just erase this because this was from before, don't mind this. um, Sound effects, you have these two and you put them back here. Uh, they should be exactly like they are right now. So how do I now make the world have these sounds? So you can come here to blueprints and open level blueprint. This open on the second screen. So open level blueprint. And now you can add a new event graph. Right click here and select create queue on both of them. So in this case it's the fire sound effect, so just write fire and here the same thing. So uh, right click, create queue and thunder. So now you can click here, double click on that and select the looping option. Right here, looping, okay, and you can put it here and connect this here and this here, so now the sound will loop, and do exactly the same thing to the thunder. So you can right here loop and put it here and do like this. Okay, so now the sound will loop. Save it and end. Finally, just open level blueprint and write this code here. So you create an event begin play, which is this one. As you can see there, event when play begins for this actor. Then add two different sound 2D. The fact that it's 2D, it means that in the whole map you hear it the same way. And select here the name of the sound that you want. In our case, it's fire and thunder. You can then change here the volume multiplier for whatever you want in order to change the volume of the sound. Click compile, save, and you should have the sound perfectly done. So this is it for the design level. I hope you were able to do it, and I'll see you on the next tutorial.